Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Previously in my videos on this channel, I talked about a topic called copy trading of Hyperliquid wallets. And actually this topic has generated quite a lot of interest. Many of you even wrote to me in private messages as well as in the comments in our chat saying that in just a short period of time, in just a few days, you achieved positive results. That's why in this video I want to give you even more practical information that will help you achieve results in this area faster. Specifically, in this video, we will go through a step-by-step process to find good wallets that you can later set up for copy trading if you wish. And we'll also go over some important nuances. Enjoy watching. Let's get started. So, before we move on to the practical part, I want to once again highlight the most important advantages and benefits of this approach, especially compared to regular copy trading of low liquidity meme coins. First of all, I want to draw your attention to the fact that on Hyperliquid, large established tokens with high liquidity are traded. And that means you can trade them in large amounts, basically with almost any capital, and the price impact here will be minimal. So, when you find a really great wallet that has been trading with a high win rate for quite a long time, you can confidently set it up for copy trading without worrying that it will start offloading onto you. Because there is high liquidity here, it makes no sense for them to offload onto you. Yes, so even if there are a bunch of other wallets following this trader, he most likely won't even notice them. From this comes another major advantage of this approach. Specifically, it means that we don't need to spend a lot of time tracking charts on the smallest time frames just to figure out how much a particular wallet is pumping a token or how many copy traders are following it. Here it doesn't matter at all, since the impact on the price is extremely minimal. Even if a wallet has a ton of copy traders following it, you won't really notice any difference. Yes, in other words, the impact on the price will be virtually unnoticeable. It's also worth noting that traders on Hyperliquid platforms very rarely change wallets, so we don't have to constantly spend a lot of time and be in a perpetual search for new wallets. So here, what happens is that you pick one wallet and you can copy trade it for several months. In other words, they don't change that often. Another advantage is that we can execute trades not only when the market or a particular asset is going up, so not just long positions, but also short positions. Accordingly, we can make money by following smart wallets even in a falling market. In fact, there are many more advantages, but I won't list them all. You'll understand for yourself once you get some hands-on experience with this approach. But for now, let's go through the process together, step by step, visually searching for interesting wallets, filtering them, and later you'll be able to set them up for copy trading on your own. I'll explain everything step by step right now. So after all the days of testing, I realized that the most convenient platform for finding wallets is DexRobot. I've talked about it before in my previous videos. But overall, let me repeat, there's nothing complicated about it. You just need to log in. I'll leave a link to DexRobot below the video. You connect your wallet on the Ethereum network, and after that you can start searching for various traders. Now I'll show you the simplest way to find the most interesting traders in a short amount of time. To do this, we go to the Discover Wallets section, and here in the left menu we need to set all the necessary filters. First of all, pay attention. Right now I've set the P&L filter from $3,000 to $100,000. So we'll potentially see traders who aren't particularly large. Also, the win rate is set at 70% and the trades count is currently set to 200. And the lower setting, TX count, is also set from 5 to 100. Next, the following criterion we need to set. Let's go to the date filter. Here, you need to set the date. Usually I set the previous day. So for example, if today is the 21st, I set it to the 20th. This way, we see all the current up-to-date traders. Here's another very useful setting. This is what it looks like. Yes, it's marked with a little flame icon. You need to check the box here. And in this way, you'll see the hottest traders, so to speak. And then, basically, you click Search and get a list of wallets. Overall, we can see that the list of wallets is quite small when filtered with the flame icon. But of course, if you remove this setting, you'll get a lot more wallets. But for now, let's focus specifically on these wallets. First of all, I usually filter by the number of completed trades. So by clicking, we get a list sorted from least to most, or vice versa, from most to least. And of course, it makes sense to copy trade wallets that have already proven themselves over time and have a lot of trades. Ideally, a wallet should have at least 10 trades. But of course, the more the better. Now we've filtered and we see that this wallet is at the top. Let's just open it by clicking on it. And what's the first thing I do? I set the chart to show all time. That is not just for 1 month, but for the entire period. And I check that the chart is steadily growing without sharp drops downward, meaning without sudden dumps. I also look at the wallet's win rate, its P&L, and how much total profit it has made relative to the deposit. Next, you can pay attention to the average leverage it uses and its open positions. In this case, we see that he has an open short position on the Hype token with 10 times leverage, and right now he is down 2.5%. And let's take a look at all his closed trades. To do this, we go to Complete Trades, filter by date to see, so to speak, the most up-to-date information in order. And we see that essentially this trader mainly trades the Hype coin. Maybe he's some kind of insider or has some information, right? Because he has a very high win rate on his trades, and he's been trading for, you could say, over a month already. Notice that he trades both short and long positions. That's why this wallet is already very interesting right from the start. I also recommend going to the trade history section and looking at how he opens his trades. Why? Because it often happens that wallets add more margin, right? And accordingly, when setting up copy trading, it's important for us to take this into account as well. Here, for example, notice that when he opened several long positions in a row, he was essentially adding more margin. And in this way, we understand that he was gradually increasing his position and averaging his entry point. So when you see this kind of history, keep that in mind as well. After I analyze a wallet, I usually start tracking it by simply adding it to my favorites. Click here and come up with a name for it. Well, let's just call it 1, 2, 3 and click track. The wallet is added to tracking, and after that, we can monitor it in the wallet tracking section. The section is called tracked wallets, but we'll get to it in a moment. For now, let's look at some other wallets. Let's open the next wallet. Again, let's look at the chart for all time to see what kind of growth it had. Overall, we can see that this trader is also quite interesting. It shows a 100% win rate, a P&L of $5,000, and at the same time, a relatively small trading deposit. He mainly trades long and on average uses 10 times leverage. Right now he has an open position on Bonk, which is at a loss of about 3.5%, you could say. And let's take a look at his completed trades over the entire period. Here we can see that this wallet enters with relatively small amounts and trades with a very high win rate. Yes, so basically almost all of his trades have closed in profit except for a few minor losses here and there. And we can see that this wallet has been trading for several months already, literally since May of this year. So it's definitely an interesting wallet to consider for copy trading. But we'll get to that in a moment. Let's open the next address, the third wallet. Here we also see a pretty impressive chart showing the growth of its capital. And its P&L is currently $626,000. Moreover, this happened over quite a long period of time, starting from November 24th, and overall, he has built up a decent amount of capital. At the same time, his win rate is 75%, he mostly trades long, and on average uses 3 times leverage. Let's take a look at his open positions. Currently, he's experiencing a significant drawdown on the PAMP token, but he's still holding it for now. He also has 2 small profitable positions. Let's look at his completed trades. Here we can see that lately things haven't been going too well for him. It's been up and down, up and down. Before that, he had a big loss on PAMP, which he already closed. So, overall, the wallet is, well, let's say rather mixed lately. It's been quite inconsistent. Most likely things went well for him at first, and he managed to grow his deposit quite a bit. But overall, I wouldn't choose this wallet right away. It's better to find more interesting wallets. Let's close this one and move on to the next wallet. Now let's take a look at the fourth address. Here we also see a pretty good picture in terms of the chart's growth. The balance is $45,000, a fairly high win rate. The average leverage is 11. Currently, there are 3 open profitable positions, which is also very important. Yes, it's good when the latest positions are in the green. Let's also take a look at the completed trades. The wallet doesn't trade every day. In other words, it trades rather infrequently, but it already has established statistics. And overall, the losses compared to the gains have been insignificant. So this is also a pretty good wallet worth keeping an eye on. Let's open the next address. It has about the same ratio of open to closed trades in terms of wins and losses. Right away, I don't like that it had a rather large drawdown, although it did manage to recover from it. Its win rate is currently quite high, and the P&L is also decent. Let's take a look at the completed trades. Let's sort by date, and we can see that recently he's been making a pretty good profit from the market, mostly trading long, and with quite a variety of assets. There were a lot of trades on SUI, and at the beginning we can see that he had a loss of $15,000 on the PopCat token. So initially he took a loss back in January, but for a long period after that he's been trading mostly without losses, so it's worth keeping an eye on him. But pay attention, there was a significant loss on the Ton coin. Overall, the sample of wallets is quite large, so if you see any extra risk for yourself, it's better to skip that wallet and find a more interesting one. Let's take a look at the next address. So the next wallet is also quite good. It had a local drawdown but then managed to recover from it. The P&L is $37,000, win rate is 85%, and on average it uses 16 times leverage. Right now, it has a bunch of open trades, and all of them are in profit. Pretty good profit, actually. Some trades notice he opened back in May, and for some, the date isn't even shown. But overall, this trader really knows how to hold a position, so to speak. Let's take a look at the completed trades. Overall, he trades quite rarely, usually just a couple of trades per month. And we can see that his win rate is quite good over the long run, and he's been trading since April. So this is also an interesting wallet to keep an eye on and maybe even set up for copy trading. But again, note that his most recent trades were closed for rather small amounts. Still, of course, the story with his open positions is encouraging. In other words, he really managed to hold on and now has a good P&L. And now let's open the last wallet. He had a total of 7 trades, 5 of which closed in profit and 2 in loss. Overall, guys, I can say right away that I don't like this wallet. Why? Because his balance has dropped significantly, and so far, let's say, he hasn't managed to get into a good profit. And basically, right now, he has 3 open profitable positions and 1 losing position for 9,000 bucks. Overall, he's currently in profit on his recent trades. And let's take a look at his most recent open trades. We can see that he does have losing periods, yes, like when he took several losses in a row in June on shorting Solana. There are also profitable periods, but overall this wallet is, well, not the best, right? So I wouldn't copy trade him, even though he had some very big good profits at first, and now he has a few trades in the green. Basically, you can find more interesting wallets out. Essentially, we've just found at least a few wallets suitable for copy trading together in real time in just a few minutes. That means we can copy the trades of these traders in real time without much effort or time investment. So now, let's once again clearly go over the important details for setting up a copy trading bot so you can automatically follow trades with minimal risk. So, for copy trading with Hyperliquid wallets, I use a bot called Apex Liquid Bot. I've talked about it before, but now let's go over the important details again. Look, to set up a wallet for copy trading, go to the copy trading section. As you can see, I currently have 10 different wallets set up for copy trading. And I want to say right away that each wallet is copy trading from a separate address of mine. Yes, that means I don't keep all my funds in one deposit. I allocate a separate deposit for each trader. For example, I create a separate sub-wallet within this bot. How do you do this properly? Let me explain step by step. Just click Add. In the Target Wallet section, paste the wallet you want to copy trade. In the Tag section, I usually come up with a name or label for each wallet. For example, you can write its win rate, like what it is over time, so that when you open a trade, you immediately see that the trade was opened by a wallet with a high win rate. Well, let's write win rate 99%. I'm just writing this as an example right now. Next, we need to set the copy ratio setting. The copy ratio is basically a coefficient that determines the proportion in which you will copy the trades of a particular trader. So look, if a trader, for example, has a balance of $10,000 and enters a trade with $1,000, then essentially he has entered with 10% of his capital. If you have the copy ratio setting at 1 times, you will also enter with 10% of your own deposit. But if you set the ratio to 3 times, then you will be entering with 3 times more proportionally to his amount, right? That is, you'll be entering with 30% of your own capital if he entered with 10%. This setting is actually very important. I recommend not overdoing it at first, so set it to 1 or 2 times and then observe how the trades are opened. If the trade opens with too small an amount, for example just a few dollars, then we can conclude that the target wallet we're copy trading is probably opening positions with a small percentage of its deposit. And so, in order for us to actually feel the profit, we need to set this parameter higher, right? Because our deposits and the target wallet's deposit can differ significantly. So again, don't go overboard right away here. Test it out with 1 or 2 times, and then, if you see that the amount involved is still too small, you can increase this setting. Just now, by the way, a position closed in profit in real time, about $1.50. Of course, that's really just pocket change, but it happens, right, that trades close with a small profit or around break even. Sometimes you get a really big take profit, that's it, but that's not the point. Let's keep going and figure things out. I think this setting is clear now. Also, don't forget to disable copy existing position. To make it clearer, let me give you an example. Look, right now there's a wallet on A6, it's about to finish. If we put it on copy trading and don't uncheck the box, then we'll open 3 positions following it. As you can see, it already has a trade at 500%, one at 49, and one at 19. But you'll actually be opening trades at completely different prices. And when it closes, there's no guarantee that you'll close in profit as well, because your entry point will be completely different. That's why I recommend turning off this setting. As for the reverse copy setting, I think everything is clear here. So if the wallet is trading at a loss, you can open trades in reverse, meaning in the opposite direction, and you'll end up closing in profit when the losing wallet closes at a loss. Next, there's the min size and max size settings. I've come to the conclusion that I don't set anything here. In other words, I don't limit myself in this regard, so in this case, I just leave these settings untouched. Copy long, copy short, this is all pretty straightforward. So if the box is checked, we copy the longs. And it's the same story with shorts. If you turn it off, for example, you can choose not to take shorts. In that case, yes, trades will only be opened as longs. But I usually don't change anything and fully trust the wallets I set up for copy trading. Minimum balance from the target wallet, I don't change anything here. And here's an important point we've come to now. Use soft wallet. So, in this case, when we click Use Soft Wallet, a separate wallet is created within this bot and we transfer funds to it from the main wallet. Here, the default is set to $30. Right now, I usually have $200 per wallet. So let's also enter 200 here as an example, and in this way a separate soft wallet will be created within the bot from my main wallet and 200 bucks will be transferred to it. That is, for this target wallet that I set for copy trading, a separate amount will be used. This is actually an extremely important point. It's better to set one target wallet, your own wallet. Of course, you can connect your entire deposit to one wallet. For example, you can link 10 different wallets to a $2,000 deposit and copy trade them all from a single deposit, but the risks here will be extremely high. Why? Because if all the wallets open long positions, your entire deposit will be used up proportionally, and if the market situation changes and goes short, you could lose a significant portion of your deposit. Of course, this won't happen if you distribute the wallets across separate soft wallets. That's why I recommend setting it up so that each separate wallet is responsible for a specific target wallet. I hope I explained it clearly. If not, feel free to ask questions in the comments or in our chat on the Telegram channel. Well, that's basically it. There's no need to overcomplicate things here. After you've set all the settings, click Create, and your wallet for copy trading will be created. After that, in the position section, we can see our total balance across all soft wallets and view all open trades. For example, right now, one of my wallets is showing a 22% gain, another one is at 14%, 10%, and so on. There are arrows here so you can scroll through. And if we want to track a specific wallet, if you want to see in detail what exactly was bought, just click View Position, and you'll see the open position. In this case, for example, the position on Hype is open and it's bringing in 23%, which is $46. We can also edit the settings here, like changing the copy ratio, for example, and we can close all positions with the click of a button. And we can also, for instance, disable a wallet by making it inactive. And look, an important point, if you want to close a sub-wallet and, for example, want to withdraw funds, you will first need to close all positions. And then, by clicking the delete button, all the funds involved in this wallet will be returned to the main wallet, after which you can withdraw them. I'll also quickly mention how to top up your deposit. You can top up either with Sol or with USDC, specifically on the Arbitrum network. I personally topped up with USDC on the Arbitrum network. You just transfer USDC to the address, and that's it. You can work with that balance. Also, of course, don't forget to export your private key in the wallet section so you can always access your wallet. And another important point, to be able to track your wallets that are set up for copy trading, especially when you have a lot of them, it might be easier to do this visually in a browser, specifically through the DEX robot. For this, we'll first need to get the address of your sub-wallet. To do this, we click here, copy the address, go to the DEX robot, search for the wallet, and accordingly we can also track our positions here. But I recommend adding it to your favorites right away. And then, within this section, we'll be able to track all our wallets that are set up for copy trading. Accordingly, in this section, I currently have my wallets added, which are set up for copy trading. And I named them the same way as in the bot. So here, at any moment, I can see the deposit of each of my wallets, and in real time, I can see the unrealized P&L. Yes, that is, which position is currently in profit and which one is in loss. Overall, this is very convenient, so I recommend following the same method. Also, if we're talking about sub-wallets, I recommend not putting less than $100 on a wallet, because you might end up opening positions that are too small in dollar terms, and the commission will eat up a higher percentage. Or alternatively, you can increase the copy ratio setting so that you can follow wallets that, for example, open trades with even a small percentage of their deposit, but you can enter with a significant amount. But of course, by doing so, you are also increasing your risks. Well guys, to sum up, as you can see, this platform has a ton of profitable wallets that have proven themselves over time, have a very high win rate, and whose success is of course extremely difficult to replicate on your own, especially if you're just starting to learn about the crypto market, trading, and so on. To be honest, so far this whole thing looks pretty much like a money-making button. The test results turned out to be really impressive. I'm gradually increasing my own deposit now. The win rate is very pleasing, and overall there are a lot of profitable wallets. Other guys are also already sharing positive results. I hope this thing will keep feeding us in the long run. And it's actually really strange that almost no one in the CIS is talking about this. At least I haven't seen anyone break down all the information about this area in such detail. So as you can see, the whole process only takes a few minutes. You don't need to sit for days monitoring charts. It's enough to just check in, analyze the wallets, spend an evening, yes, to figure things out, and then you can already start trying to pull out your share from the market, you could say, almost passively. Also, of course, this thing is quite substantial. That is, you can actually put in pretty decent amounts here. But of course, before you do that, don't forget about the risks. I recommend starting with small deposits, testing everything with small amounts. And after you see a positive trend, only then should you gradually increase your deposit. I also want to point out that right now the market is in a long position, but everything can change quickly. If the wallets don't adjust, meaning if they keep going long, it's better to turn them off and look for wallets that have adapted to the new market phase. That is, when everything starts to fall and the situation shifts to shorting, it's also important to adjust and find suitable wallets. Or check to make sure that your wallets, which were generating profit before, have also, so to speak, changed their trend, that is, that they've started trading from the short side. The good wallets that we discussed today, of course, I'll post in my Telegram channel so you can check it out. The link to the Telegram will be below the video, and the post will have the same name as this video. You can just search for it and you'll find those wallets there. I'm always happy to share wallets, honestly. Another advantage of this approach compared to DEX copy trading on low liquidity assets is that you can actually share wallets with a large number of people. You can copy trade a single wallet with many people, and basically it doesn't negatively affect me in any way. So I enjoy sharing wallets. Grab them on Telegram. Well, that's all I have for now. If you found this information useful, please support with a like and let me know in the comments. Have you already tried out this approach? How's it going for you? If something isn't working out, don't be afraid to ask questions either. And I wish everyone profits. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos on this topic, and we're not saying goodbye yet. See you, bye.